Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the reissue of the Four Horsemen's Mythic Legions PowerCon exclusive, Demistros. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here we have the Four Horsemen logo. Nice blister on here, and this card back just slides out. SourceHorseman.com, StoreHorseman.com. Then again, like I said, nice big blister here showcasing the figure and its accessory. A picture over here with some text about the Four Horsemen studio, it looks like. Nothing about Demistros. Well, maybe some down here. And if you want to read all that stuff, I'll hold it right here. You can pause it and read it all. So then here back on the front, Demistros. And it's, I mean, that's really cool looking artwork and a logo and all that stuff. So really cool. And then on this side, Four Horsemen, the Four Horsemen logo, and PowerCon, because this is a re-release of the PowerCon exclusive for, I don't know if it was this year or last year. I don't know. I'm just getting into Mythic Legions, so I don't know a whole ton about it. So Four Horsemen, and then we got some nice practical photography here of the character, and man, he looks really sinister in that picture. Demistros. And then here we have some small fine legalese print. See the entire collection. Visit SourceHorseman.com. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print. I'm sure it says made in China print on there somewhere. Adult collectible, ages 15 and up. Yes, made in China print right there. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. And a barcode. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And first up, well, let's take a look at the accessories. Don't need no handy dandy tweezers right now, or any handy dandy tweezers. So first up, here's a pike. I'm guessing that's what this is a pike of some kind. And we took a look at this on Digital Caveman Presents with the Skeleton Legion builder, I do believe. And the mold is the same. I think the paint here on these straps might be a little bit different. And there you go. It's a paint app. It's got a wash on it as well. And then we have this nice gunmetal, silverish gunmetal for the blade. And then the pole is kind of a glittery black, almost graphite, maybe. If I had to guess, I would say it's more of a graphite color to it. So, but nice molded details throughout. And I mean, this thing's been through the ringer. It's been used a lot. Look at all those nicks and gouges, scratches on the blade. There I go. I'm not trying to throw stuff. And here's another piece that we've seen before. Now, I'll take it back. I think this may be a little bit different than Arakagor's sword, but the basic principle of it is the same blade shape. I think this part may be different, and the handle may be different as well. But look, we've got some nice runes inscribed on the blade. And seeing as how this guy's a bad guy, maybe they're not so nice. And then it looks like maybe a little bit of a wash and maybe some mess up there with the paints here, or that may be intentional just to give it this bit of rusty look. Maybe it's the wrong color for rust. So, but different runes on this side, I think. Nope, same runes. So then we've got this nice spiky area that has some kind of a almost wood look to it. And then we've got a little bit of a paint app here on the handle with nice molded details, and then a very pointy pommel on the blade. And the last weapon that he comes with is this, I want to call this a Morning Star, because a mace would be, you know, this would be attached and there would be no chain. So I think a Morning Star is the one with the chain that you sling around, and it will wind up when you try to sling it around. So don't recommend that, buddy. So, but it's got a nice spiky ball there to it and some nice metal chain. Although I will say this, I would like to see a bit of wire in this chain to make this a more posable weapon instead of it just, you know, dangling all the time. That's what she said, right? So then next up, we have his shoulder pads. And I do believe, yes, they're molded in this color, it looks like. And then we've got some paint apps here and here. And then this strap here, as well as some buttons here and some buttons there and buttons here. And then maybe a slight wash or dry brush. Yeah, it looks like maybe a dry brush also. And of course, I'm just calling what I see. That may not be the actual case, but that's the way it looks to me. So pretty much the same paint apps on this one, is the same as the other one, just the opposite. And of course the posts where they go into the ports in his back. His last accessory is his cape. It's got two holes in it right here for the armor pieces to fit through to secure to his back. Two straps here that crisscross and connect in the back, and they're hook and loop, and that's how they attach. And they have a nice little like pleathery feel to them, and they're stitched. And the cape is a bit stiff, and the fabric is, it feels thick, but I don't think it's the fact. I think the fact that it's double, or it's lined, or however you want to call it, but it's double layered. There's two layers of fabric on this, the inner and then the outer. And then it's a little bit raggedy here at the bottom. But nice colors and nice thick feeling material. And of course, there is a wire, very thin wire for this thick fabric, I would say, but it is posable somewhat. The heaviness of the fabric kind of defeats the thinness of the wire in some areas. Well, let's take a look at the figure itself. And while we're still talking about soft goods, this is basically the same as the cloak. It's double layered, even though it seems to be about the same color on either side. And again, it's, you know, tattered at the bottom. Well, let's take a look at his head. And I want to say this is probably reused from somewhere else. It was just different colors. And that wouldn't surprise me. And that's fine. It works in different colors to make different characters. But look at his eyes. They're very eerie looking. But it looks like there's a wash all over the head, especially on the horns. So it looks like a heavy wash here, and then lighter on the skull parts. And it really helps all of that detail to stand out. Now while we're back here, there's lots of nice sculpted detail here on this collar piece and You know, some paint apps going on here and around the front of it too. Really, really gives this guy an evil look, even though this, you know, the head really kind of does it all by itself. And this piece is, of course, removable. He's got straps crisscrossing his chest, and they do have the secondary straps for it for weapons to go into if you want to do it that way. But if he's wearing the cape, you really, it's hard to do that. So there is that. So it looks like a nice dry brush all over the outside of the armor. And we've got some nice sculpted detail in here. Of course, I think we've seen this piece before too. We've probably seen all of these pieces before in this line, and that's okay. It's armor. It makes sense to reuse this stuff when it makes sense. So he's got a strap here for a weapon to go in. And of course, I don't think I mentioned it, but there is a wire in this cloak piece as well. And then this piece is removable. The neck piece is removable. And if you pop him apart at the waist, you know, all of this stuff is removable and it's customizable. And I mean, that's the whole point of excuse me, Mythic Legions. What they set out to do was to make it ultimately customizable, and that's pretty much what they've done. And got a little bit of sculpted detail in here, and then again, you know, wash or dry brush on the armor pieces down here. And of course, his feet don't look like people feet, although they could be in that shoe or boot, whatever you want to call it. You know, there's no telling what his foot actually looks like. It's not a hoof, I can tell you that. So, what an amazing looking figure. Let's take a look at his articulation, what we can do with all these pieces on it. And with the collar piece on there, he can actually look up that far, so that's really good. And you can see these two horns sticking out of his chin. And he can look down that far, so that's really cool as well. It is liable to get hung up in this, so just be careful of that. So it's a little bit loose there, but I wouldn't really say he has chicken neck. Now he does have some waggle. The collar does prevent the full exorcist, but I'm sure that he can perform that if needed without the collar. So with the collar on, he can look that far and that far. So not too bad with this big piece in the way. So at the shoulder, he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees. And let's see, does he have any? No butterfly. He can rotate at the shoulder 360 degrees. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, and it swivels around 360 degrees there and gives you not quite 90 degrees worth of bend because this armor piece gets in the way. He does have some more rotation here at the gauntlet. And pieces like to move together, so it will spin 360 degrees there. At the wrist, because of this wrist guard piece, it will rotate a full 360 degrees, but with that piece it gets in the way, so it just twists like this. And it's on an in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on the other side as well. Now he doesn't have anything in the torso, but he does have a cut here at the waist. It's on a ball joint or half dumbbell, whatever you want to call that. And it does give him all kinds of hula. He can lean left and right. He can lean back that far and lean forward that far. So that's not bad. Also, he can rotate a full 360 degrees there at the waist as well. at the hips. Let's see what he's got going on. So between the cloak and these hip protectors there, it does get in the way a little bit, but they do, you know, they don't hinder anything. They will move out of the way. And he gives you the splits plus. So, wow. He can kick forward, not quite 90 degrees. Backwards, about 3.5, 4 steps maybe. So that's really cool. Let's see. He does have a cut right here at the thigh. And it will rotate a full 360 degrees. So that's nice. And unexpected. Single hinge and swivel at the knee. Swivels around 360 degrees and gives you... We'll go ahead and call that 90 degrees worth of bend. At the ankle... Oh, the spikes are sharp. Tilts down that far. Tilts up that far. Wow. Has forward-facing pin for rocker. And I do believe it will rotate 360 degrees as well, because these feet can be unplugged and replaced. So if you have something with hooves that'll fit there and you want to give him hooves, I guess you could do that. Now, as far as storage goes, I don't think this sword really fits in any of the things that he has. Certainly won't go in there. This could, but that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I guess he just has to carry his stuff. The Morning Star, of course, not really storable. So as far as, like, you want to put his cape on him, which I do. I think he looks really cool with the cape. So you want to get the cape behind him. You kind of want to line up the armor shoulder pieces, the holes there. And let's see if we can just go ahead and pin it in. Sometimes I can do this easily. I've tried it once or twice. Sometimes it goes easily, sometimes not so much. Alright, that one went in pretty easy. It's the other one that has a little bit of issue, at least on my copy. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And how about that? For change, it went in, but this one popped out. So, alright, there we go. That's in. As far as these straps go, and there's the shoulder piece popping off again. In fact, they both popped off. So give me just a minute off camera and see if I can fix that. Alright, so it took me a couple of minutes to get it on there right. And you may have to work at them just a little bit in order to get it on there properly. You may have to pop the neck and the head off and the neck piece. So just be prepared that you may have to work at this guy a little bit to get the cloak and the shoulder armor on. And then now I'm going to have problems with his arm popping out of place. Back in there, you. So then you kind of just want to make sure these are in place where you want them, these plastic rubber straps, whatever. And then the ones for his cloak, they just kind of strap around his chest. Right, where's that one at? They strap around his chest, up on the high side, I guess you might say. Around to the back, and you want the hook side facing up, and put it in place first, and then cover it with the loop side, or the fuzzy side. Ah, I'm falling. And there you have that. That is his cape and shoulder pads all in place, and stick his elbow back in place one more time. So might be a little bit of a tolerance issue here. And as far as the rest of it, you know, you just put whatever weapon or weapons in his hands as you would like. And that, my friends, is a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios, I'm going to say Mythic Legions, PowerCon exclusive reissue or standard edition Demistros with the Mythic Legions Skeleton Legion Builder, Mythic Legions Thrace Wraithhaler, and Mythic Legions Golden Knight 2 Legion Builder. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios PowerCon exclusive re-release or standard edition of Demistros, which I'm going to say is a Mythic Legions figure, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, from Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Four Horsemen Studios PowerCon exclusive, I guess he's a Mythic Legions, re-release of Demistros, or the standard version of Demistros. You know, this guy, he looks super evil, right? I mean, just, his head is oversized, he's got horns on his head, he's got horns coming out of his chin, and his head is a skull. So what's not to like if you like bad guys or you like skeleton dudes? I mean, this dude, he fits the bill. He's Skeletor's brother. I don't know. Probably not. Because, you know, Skeletor's brother was King Randor. But anyway, I digress. You know, just like any other figure that I have reviewed from Four Horsemen, this one has it all. He has cool weapons. He has nice wired soft goods. The sculpt is incredible. The paint apps are superb. And it's just great. So, I mean, if you're interested in fantasy stuff at all, this is, you know, it's a great figure. And, you know, they're branching out, the Four Horsemen, they're branching out a little bit from, you know, in their own brands. You know, now they're doing the Figura Obscura line, which, you know, covers all kinds of stuff so far. And it's really, the weapons are cool, the sculpt is cool, the paint is cool, everything about this guy is cool. And I love the fact that you can, if you want, hang on to the packaging. You can put the figure back into the packaging if you don't want to display them out of the packaging. You just kind of want to fiddle with them for a while and then put them back up, or just pull them out for some photography and put them back up. You know, I like the fact that you can do that. And it does help the resale value on these guys, although I think some of them are quite overpriced on the secondary market. some of the older stuff. But, you know, then again, that stuff could be really, really rare. And, you know, I haven't been in maybe not quite 6 months into this line. Now, I've looked at it off and on over the years, but just felt it was kind of price-wise not within my reach. And so I've recently found out that, you know, paying a little extra for stuff, you know, you get a little bit extra stuff, if that makes sense, you know, better sculpt, better paint. So does that mean I'm going to drop every single other line that I collect in order to only collect Mythic Legions or Four Horsemen? No, that would leave you guys without daily content. So I'm just gonna do like I've been doing, I suppose, and keep on keeping on and collect some of this and collect some of that, and, you know, collect what I like. So that's what I like to do. And, you know, I don't necessarily like to be stuck in one thing or two things or 10 things. And, you know, if you've watched my channel, you know, one of my online friends, Lone Dragon, calls me Dig It All Caveman instead of Digital Caveman. But that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.